Al Pacino, Orson Welles, Angelina Jolie. The rich and famous seek a haven in this enclave outside NYC. With just 100 homes, the area nicknamed Hollywood on the Hudson offers a tight-knit community, a beautiful landscape perched above the river, and loads of privacy. Just 12 miles north of the George Washington Bridge into Manhattan, the secluded woodsy enclave of Snedens Landing has long been a magnet for celebrities, artists, writers, musicians, and actors. Angelina Jolie grew up there, and current residents reportedly include Tina Fey, Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost, Bill Murray, Al Pacino and Mikhail Baryshnikov. Back in the day, residents included Orson Welles, Noel Coward, Katharine Hepburn, Laurence Olivier and Vivien Leigh, and authors John Steinbeck and John Dos Passos, according to published reports. For good reason, Snedens has earned the moniker Hollywood on the Hudson. The draw for celebrities and people in the know is the complete privacy, the rugged natural beauty, centuries of great architecture, the outright neighborliness of the tight-knit community, the seclusion and, of course, the easy proximity to Manhattan. Snedens' provenance and quaint feel has strong appeal, said Richard Ellis of Ellis Sotheby's International Realty, whose firm represents multiple properties on the market in Snedens. Currently, about 1 out of 10 residents are A-listers. My husband and I have had a house there for the last 6 years, he said. We mostly use it as a weekend place, and during COVID we were there full-time. In Snedens, everybody looks out for each other and everybody knows each other, said David Sanders, associate broker and director of luxury marketing, Christie's International Real Estate Westchester/Hudson Valley. It's a great community to be part of. My partner and I bought a house there in 1983 and lived there for 10 years. Sanders remembers that first visit to Snedens while they were living in Manhattan and visiting friends for a 4th of July party. I drove down that hill and it felt like a little Cotswold village, a place that time overlooked, he said. A lot of people refer to it as Brigadoon. Snedens Landing is a neighborhood in the Orangetown hamlet of Palisades that is perched above the Hudson River in the southeastern tip of New York's Rockland County. It is firmly defined by Route 9W on the west, the Hudson River on the east, Tallman Mountain State Park to the north, with Columbia University's Lamont-Doherty Earth Observatory serving as its southern border. It's completely isolated by its boundaries, Sanders said. There's one way in and one way out, which means no through traffic and few cars on its winding roads and dead-end streets. It's pretty much impossible to find anything under $1 million anymore, Ellis said. Generally speaking, prices are about $1.5 million to $5 million, with the sweet spot being anything under $2 million, or the low $2 millions. If it's done, it has a good chance of selling quickly, he said. In the $4 million to $5 million range, we actually have more activity than ever. There are only a handful of homes on the market at any given time, Ellis added. Sometimes there are 5 or 6 homes available. Last year, a circa 1868 Gothic revival once owned by Bill Murray sold for $1.83 million after being listed for $2 million. The current top of the market is a 13-acre Gilded Age mansion known as Neighborliness, which is listed with Ellis for $28.5 million. At that price, it would break records for both Snedens and Rockland County. Like many houses in Snedens, Neighborliness, built in 1874, is on the National Register of Historic Places. Nothing about Snedens is cookie-cutter, Ellis said. There are no McMansions or overly manicured landscapes. Apart from the Palisades Presbyterian Church, an 1863 Gothic revival building, and the Tennis Association, which oversees a single outdoor clay court, the enclave is made up entirely of private residences. The homes vary from large turn-of-the-last-century stone mansions overlooking the Hudson to tiny clapboard cottages with classic front porches on farmland from the colonial days, Ellis said. Many date from the late 1600s to pre-World War II, with a handful of newer homes. Landscaping in the community is very natural and authentic and draws attention to the neighborhood as well, especially for prospective buyers looking for an authentic home close to New York City, he said. Snedens has about 100 houses, many with colorful names such as the Cliff House, Seven Oaks, the Captain John House, the Henry Dobbs House, the Clock House, Pirate's Lair and the Big House, whose visitors are said to include George and Martha Washington. One of the best-known houses is the Ding Dong House, a pre-Revolutionary War Dutch colonial farmhouse with sweeping views of the Hudson River that once had a great bell hanging over its gate, according to published reports.